Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're counting down the top 5 instant cameras that are sure to elevate your photography game. Whether you're a seasoned photographer or a casual snapper, these cameras promise to capture moments in an instant. But before we get started, make sure to check the link in the description below if you want to know about the price and other information. Let's jump right in. Starting off our list is the Fujifilm Instax Mini 11 instant camera. The Instax Mini 11 doesn't have the sleekest design, but it's easy to grip and fun to use. It even includes an automatic light meter that determines when to use flash so the shot doesn't get blown out, though highlights can still be somewhat bright. It has a dedicated selfie mode that can also be used for macro close-up shots, as it slightly zooms the lens. The included wrist strap was easy to attach, and small accessories like a stick-on shutter button cap made the camera feel customizable. A film counter window on the back of the camera tracks how many shots you've got left with a large, easy-to-read number. The only problem with this camera was the viewfinder. It's tiny and hard to see through. The front selfie mirror is also small, but gets the job done. This is also the only camera I tested that uses replaceable batteries instead of a Li-ion battery, which could be a hassle if you don't want to keep buying Oz. Next up, we have the Polaroid Now I Type Instant Camera. The Now I Type Instant Camera is an updated version of a classic Polaroid for around $100. It uses the company's iType film and sports modern design tweaks like a rechargeable Li-ion battery. This camera looks nice, even if it feels a little clunky in hand, with a vintage factor that makes it exciting to use. It comes with a full neck strap instead of a wrist loop, which I prefer. It's light but bulky enough that it'd be a pain to try and carry around on your wrist. Images take 10-15 minutes to develop fully, typical of instant film. As all the other cameras I tested had smaller prints, it was satisfying to have full-size square film, which comes in color and monochrome for this one. Photos develop with a warmer tone, decent contrast, and detail. ISO is fixed at about 640. So only a little extra flash is required to get decent photos indoors. You can't switch between color and monochrome in camera. Still, you can choose between multiple film stocks, including monochrome film, black bordered color film, and color film with multicolored borders and frames. Moving on to our third pick, the Fujifilm Instax Mini 12. For casual and beginners seeking a way into instant photography and having fun with analog photography, the Mini 12 fits the bill. It has a one-button operation, includes a tiny selfie mirror, and, most of all, it's affordable. Instax cameras aren't very complicated to begin with, and the Mini 12 is as simple as it can be. Everything is automatic, from flash control to exposure, and the emphasis is on picture making pointed at something from 115 and 45 ft away. Click and out pops a photo. As its name implies, it uses the mini format of Instax film, which is easy to find. Pricing for older models like the Mini 11 isn't much lower than the Mini 12, and we don't recommend them. There are subtle improvements new to this model that might keep users from getting frustrated, such as parallax correction, which aligns the viewfinder with the lens when using close-up mode so users no longer have to guess where the center of the frame is and waste film. One limiting factor to consider is the lack of flash control, which means that if you're too close to something, you will overexpose them. It's only worth mentioning, as something to be aware of, that most instant cameras don't let users control the flash until you get into more expensive cameras. Our fourth pick is the Fujifilm Instax Mini 40, an Instax Mini 11 in a much nicer suit. The Instax Mini 40 wraps itself in faux leather and silver trim for a retro rangefinder unique design. The specs are identical to the Mini 11, so you won't gain the Mini 12's parallax correction to align the viewfinder with the lens in close-up mode. Otherwise, you'll still have an easy-to-use, automatic camera that accepts mini film. It's more grown-up than the candy-colored plastic design of the Mini 12, but the cool factor comes at a slightly higher cost. Last, but certainly not least, we have the Instax Wide 300. If the mini format feels too narrow, and it is if you're seeking large group shots or landscapes, there's the Instax Wide $300 120, also Fujifilm's only wide format camera. Shooting wide film about twice the width of mini format has to be your priority before you consider this camera. The camera itself has limited exposure compensation control and 2 motor-driven focus positions. Otherwise, it's fully automatic. There is an attachment for close-ups down to 40 cm. It's also pretty bulky due to the wide format film, but the larger size does gain a comfortable hand grip. We also considered the Lomography Instant Wide $170 as an alternative. Like the Wide 300, it's also a simple-to-use camera, but this model adds some manual controls, modes like multiple exposure mode, flash gels, an ultra-wide angle attachment lens, and a remote trigger switch, but it's on the lens cap, making it prone to accidental presses when you go to remove or replace the cap. There is a bit of a learning curve to using the camera. Focusing is difficult, and we found the plastic builds to be lacking in ergonomics. We didn't think the added cost was worth recommending it over the solid and reliable Wide 300. And there you have it, our top 5 best instant cameras for capturing memories. Be sure to check the links in the description below for the latest prices and availability. Which one caught your eye? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Until next time, happy shooting!